Yes, thank you, Dan. This is a very important topic. We have, as WBC, chosen to, as I said in my beginning in the statement, to try to make the best effort to have unification fights and unified champions for the benefit of the whole industry and the fan engagement and fan appreciation. So every single case of the interim has had a explanation. The Canelo situation, as you mentioned, when he embarked on the journey to become undisputed in super middleweight, the WBC did approve an interim title to allow that to happen. Benavides, that gave activity to the division. Benavides has won the title and defended it twice and has come to the level of interest to be a top challenger of the unified champion, undisputed champion. Charlo, when he got injured and then the eventual mental health situation, that's when Adames became interim champion. And we have been very actively promoting the topic and giving the explanations on those two cases. In the case in the super flyweight, Estrada, he had requested a opportunity to do a fight, a high-profile fight for unification with Ioka, and that took almost 1 year and it fell apart. So we did an interim title, and he will either fight Ioka or he has to fight Cuadras. So in summary, we are accepting interim titles when it enhances the benefit, the overall benefit of the division. We understand.
I want to ask you one thing about that. You talk about the overall benefit of the division. I'll just use Charlo as an example. I mean, we all are empathetic to him about his issues outside of the ring. And so my thought was, okay, by all means, WB support him. Make him the in recess champion. When he comes back, by all means, have your opportunity to fight again in a top title fight. Meanwhile, you got a Carlos Adames that spends like a year plus with an interim title and no movement whatsoever that Charlo will fight him. And now after his most recent fight, Charlo's own comments were that he's probably not going to be in the weight class. So that felt like a situation where over the 2 years, he could have been the in recess champion. When he wants to fight, you're welcome back. We love you. Fight for the title. And in the meantime, Adames may have stayed busy and done other fights. And when it comes to, I understand some of the points you make about Cuadras and what happened with the Canelo situation. But okay, now at what point do you order the fight? Canelo, you must fight this guy or you're going to, the title will go vacant or go to that.
I understand that. It's easy to evaluate when you look back. Specifically, Charlo, he had a fight contracted when he got injured by the hand. So you can take away from the whole period 6 months out because he was going to fight. Then he got injured. Then we ordered the interim. And then he had this mental breakdown. I will not at any way go against. I'm very proud of standing strong with Charlo. We had very private conversations in which he basically said, don't take away from me the only thing that wants to keep me alive, being the champion. So that a specific case, I do not regret a single moment. We're going to finalize whether he stays in 160 or not, and we will move on. But I understand your point. I respect it. But I believe Adames is very happy. He has made a very good money in this process, and he's in a good position to engage in a very big fight. So for the overall, I believe those decisions have been correct. I will be happy to discuss any specific ones with you in order to move with this meeting, but I respect it, and I truly believe that we have been consistent and we are positive for the moving forward on each division. Cynthia.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To piggyback off of the women's division, obviously, I I've said this in our interviews on our show, Best Women's Boxing Show, period. Giandra and I have had so many conversations with female boxers, champions, WBC champions, but boxing is evolving. I understand where you guys stand. There's the medicals behind it. Why not, maybe since everything is changing, why not do for championship fights 12 rounds, 12 minutes, 12 rounds, 2 minutes, just for championship fights? Have you guys ever discussed that, to put that on the table?
Yeah, we did. We put that forward to the medical committee at the last convention. And the fact is, the dehydration plus fatigue is a major factor. I have seen all these great women boxing matches. When they reach the 10th round, they're exhausted. Katie Taylor, Serrano, all these fighters. But I mean, it is hard to go against the medical opinion. And I wonder what would happen if there's an accident on the 11th or 12th round. What would be how could anyone go to sleep with that on mind? As I said, what is it that we want? Do we just want to see a woman drop dead? Do we just want to see a woman? How more exciting can be Katie Taylor against Chantel Cameron, or Katie Taylor against Amanda? How more excitement can that be than what we saw?
No, and I totally understand. I'm not going to say that if they fought 12 minutes, 12 rounds, 3 minutes, there's going to be a knockout. I'm not saying that. But even say, for instance, that one fight that the WBC sanctioned with Senicia Estrada, and that she got knocked out in like 10 seconds. Why was that fight even sanctioned? So for a lady to get knocked out and possibly it could have been fatal versus someone going 10 or 11 rounds, 12 rounds of dehydration, what's the difference? Because someone could be dehydrated in the first. I'm very passionate about this because I read your statement on the WBC, and it was, women have a choice. I have to say this. I understand that there are rules and regulations that they have to go by, the sanctioning bodies. But in this world, and we've talked about this, choices are taken away from women generally in this world. So why not have a woman say, you know what, why don't you have the female WBC champions talk about it and have that conversation? Because if they're always talking about equal pay, equal rights, then they should have the choice of fighting what they want to do in order to get that kind of pay. I mean, it's an agree to disagree.
Let me talk.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Don't make this sexist. It is not about sex.
No.
Yeah,
it's not.
This is not about equality. I said very clearly, this is only safety. And that was a low blow to mention that example of that fight. Of course, there can be one mismatch once in a whole, and I'm embarrassed that was for a WBC title sanctioned in California by Golden Boy Promotions. That was a terrible mismatch. And that was, I don't remember which title it was. It was not a world title at all. But we sanctioned that fight, and I regret it, and it was terrible. That's why we have all these meetings and information about safety. It is not about women's ability. Why women play tennis for 3 sets and not 5? Go ask the ATP. The WBC will not put a woman in higher risk in a WBC fight. We believe in choice. If a fighter wants to fight 12 rounds or 3-minute rounds, they have the absolute choice, but they will not do it in the WBC.